Hello class. This week we will start lesson 12. We plan to travel. 各位同学好，这个礼拜我们要上第12课。我们打算去旅游。打算 means plan to. We plan to travel. 我们打算去旅游。Please take out your learning pad and turn to page 6. We'll start with new words. 请翻开你的讲页，打开到第六页 page 6. Today we're focusing on nouns. 今天我们要学名词 nouns. Are you ready? 你们都准备好了吗？Number 1, 车 vehicle. 车 is a general name for any moving vehicles running underground. So, any words put in front of 车 is used as a modifier to specify what type of a car that is. Since the Chinese words are always compound, so every single character, they have their own meanings, but when they're put together, it's going to form a new meanings. Some of them will change the original meaning, some of them will just extend the original meaning and make it more complete. So let's see. The first one is 汽车. We already know 车 is the moving vehicles. Now 汽 must showing some specialty of that vehicle. 汽 means some air or gas or the smoke come out from the vehicle. You can see the mobile car running on the street, the exhausting pipe is going to pass out the gas. So, we call that 汽车. Next one is train. Train is called 火车. 火 is the specific condition to define that car. You know, in the old time, the train was run by the steam. And the steam come out from the coil. Inside of the head, the train, there's a furnace that burn of the coal, and the steam come out from there and become to be the power that they can drive the train moving forward. But you see, in the furnace, it looks like you put on fire because the coal is going to generate a lot of steam, and also there's a fire there. We call this kind of a vehicle is 火车. Next one is commuting bus. We call 交通车. 交通 in Chinese, there's other meaning. That means traffic. But commuting, it means that there's a transportation running back and forth in two designated points. If there's any vehicle you run between point A to point B repeatedly, we call that is commuting. So if you work for a company, they provide a transportation to pick you up in the morning, and then they take you home, after work. That kind of vehicles, we say that will serve as the transportation for commuting purpose. And that kind of a bus or any kind of vehicle, we call that 交通车. In New York, the subway sometimes, they don't really run into the destination. Maybe there is a railroad maintenance or something. So they will ask the passengers get off the train, the subway, and then take on a commuting bus. Then they will take you to the destination. They serve two designated points back and forth. That kind of a bus is a commuting bus as well. Now look into the next one. It's a cable car. If you have seen an old picture of San Francisco City, they have a lot of cable cars. which means that is kind of a trolley, but on top of that trolley, they have the wire that drive the car moving into a certain direction, and also that provide power, which is electricity, of course, to moving forward. That kind of cable car, in Chinese we say 电车. So now you can tell why it is 电, because they provide it, the car was driven by electricity. So that's 电车. Next one is 公交车. 公交车 is public bus. And just like the links we have in here, right? Because that serves the public. So we say that is 公交. 公 means public. Everybody can share. 交 is 交通. We just learned it. That's traffic or commuting. So if this kind of commuting car provided and shared by the general public, we call that 公交车. Alright, public bus. 公交 means commuting car shared by the public. 公交, 公交车. Next one is school bus. School is 学校. So of course, this kind of car is 校车. Next one is 赛车. It's a racing car. We learned that before, but we call that 跑车. That's the type of the car. A particular shape, very beautiful. We call that 跑车 because they can run so fast. So we say 跑 because 跑 is run. 跑车, and also known as 赛车. That's a race car. Now let's look into examples. 汽车. This is still a general term for all of the mobile driven car. Okay, so we can see there are the race car, school bus, and the commuting bus or public bus. All right, let's see the detail. First one, 公交车. This is for the public bus. This is the bus that you can see in China, and this is a real picture. So it doesn't make much difference than ours here. Next one is 校车. Now their 校车 is much fancier than us. This one on the side, you can see they put it 小学生专用校车. 小学生, what is that? You should record that. 小学生 means elementary or primary school student. 专用 is reserved for this purpose. 校车 is reserved for the elementary school student. So this school bus is provided for elementary school only. And most of the school bus in China is provided. That's not for free. You have to pay. So they have the resources, and they have financially, they afford to buy a new car. So their carbon condition is some of the school, their PDA is very strong. So they have a lot of money to buy a good car. So this is for the elementary. It's not a really big car, but it's pretty good. So next one is a racing car, 赛车 or 跑车. It's very fancy, just like an Indian 2000. Now this is a 火车. We just explained. You see those the steam, not steam actually. There's a smoke come out of the chimney, and that was come from I think that's they either burn the woods or they burn the coil inside. Let's go back here. The first one I'm showing in the pink color here. This is railroad tickets. Okay, in China. Actually, that's for the high-speed railroad. They provide this kind of ticket. Actually has a lot of information. All right, but it's not the focusing of our lesson, so I'm not going to introduce that detail. But this tells you that it's departure from Guangzhou to Chongqing, and is only valid for that day, which is January 1st, 2010. And the train is going to depart 8:35 p.m. When I look to the right, this is the movie tickets. All right, movie tickets usually they provide for two parts. The top portion is for admission. The bottom portion is for your receipt. That's for movies, so we say 电影. Movie is 电影, so this is 电影票. All right. And look into the bottom left. This is a. Could you read those Chinese characters? You should be able to recognize it. That's a 北京地下铁道车票. 地下铁道, it means 地铁, the subway. This is 车票, means that the train ticket. Okay, so this is provided for the subway in Beijing. And how much it cost? Did you see at the very bottom? That's 3元. 3 means $3. This is old tickets now. I think now they don't use that kind of ticket. Or maybe some place they still use it. But I don't think in Beijing they still use it. Because they all convert into the bottom right. It's just like a credit card. You can buy a certain amount of the tickets values, and then every time when you pass the turnstile, you just swipe it and then take the money out of your card. So this is the new train ticket now. 电影票, alright, this is movie tickets. We call 电影票 because movie is 电影. Right, next one is 船票. See, it's for 船 means ship or boat. The top one is a ferry boat ticket. In southern China, there are a lot of islands now. In Penghu Xian, alright, there's a county very, very down in the south, and people commuting every day by boat, not by cars. So they must buy the boat ticket to get on the boat. The price is 148. I think this is new Taiwan dollars. All right. Look into the bottom one. This one is the one I want to introduce you. You most likely, you might go to Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is very close to Macau. But you still have to take a ferry because they were isolated, and around the sea. So you have to using boat for commuting. And this is a turbojet. It's very fast. So it cannot contain too many passengers at one time. Between Hong Kong and Macau, it might only take 10 to 15 minutes. So you cannot have a huge luggage. You can just very light carry on bag, and then it will only take you probably 15 minutes. So this kind of a boat commuting ferry boat tickets is not cheap. That's Hong Kong dollars, $146. I think this probably is $20. More than 20 probably. Because $7 to $1, that's probably $21 or now. For 15 minutes commuting, that's pretty expensive. Alright, next one is 飞机票. Alright, look into your on your ticket. It's 飞机. Alright, it's item number 8. 飞机. When you say 飞机票, no, it means that's an airline ticket. But you can skip 飞, just say 机票. Everybody knows that is airline tickets. Now I want you to do some exercise, okay? Now I'll give you 2 minutes. You just try to see what those arrow was pointing to, and then you come back to tell me what have you found. Next again, item number 6, 地铁. 地铁 means 地下铁道. 地 is underway, that is on 地下. 铁 is 铁道, means railroad. 地铁 means 地下铁道, which is a subway. And the picture we put on here is the subway train in Shanghai. This is the real subway. It's very clean and very shining. And it's not for propaganda, alright? This is not for the tourist picture. This is the real, how it looks like in Shanghai. Looking to the right, that's the Shanghai subway station. The floor is shining. They hire a lot of maintenance people and keep the subway clean. And also, if you leaders in the subway, you will receive a huge fine. And so everybody is very, very behaved in the subway. You cannot eat, and you can't really, drink. Some people might violate, do some violation, but no, unless you didn't get caught. But if you get caught, you're going to face a huge fine. So that's why they can keep the subway very clean. I don't like the Shanghai living environment, but Shanghai subway is definitely is worth it for a big price. Next one is item number 7, 高铁. 高 means 高速, 铁 is 铁道. 高速 means high speed. 高速 high speed. High is 高, but here indicating high speed because this is a railroad. So high speed rail is 高速铁道. 铁道 is railroad. Look into the left picture. This is the bullet train. It runs on top of the monorail, so they don't really touch the track. It's floating. The air actually is floating there, so that's why they can run in a very, very fast speed. This bullet train actually runs faster than the first generation. The bullet train in Japan. Japan has very, very outstanding bullet train, but China has higher speed than in Japan now. So most of the big cities, they're connecting by the railroad. Chinese built the high-speed railroad in the past 10 years with tremendous progress. So they have the longest railroad construction in the whole world. United States trying to copy their style, but we can't do it because we have a lot of problem to obtain the properties to build the railroad like they do. Look into the right picture. This is the general train station in Shanghai. Shanghai has 3 or 4 general train station, but this is the biggest one. It's Shanghai Nanzhan in the south, the train station south. Actually the railroad is kind of a mixed. Some of them are really run the bullet train. Some of them are still the regular railroad, but the bullet train was run. The train cars was driven by the bullet train. So it's very mixed here, but it's a giant. I've been there once. It's so easy to get lost. I think this train station is even bigger than the general station in New York. Let's look into the new words. Number 8, 飞机, airplane. This is the Airbus 380s. This is made in France. Airbus actually has a very wide cabin, so on the both aisles actually they can provide 2 seats, but in the center they have 6 seats. So you don't really have to squeeze in the middle seat. I like this kind of airplane, so you can get more room on the side. You only have 2 people sitting on the aisle seat, so it's kind of nice. But all of this kind of flying vehicles, the 飞机 actually is flying in the sky. So 机 means 机器, right? Whatever kind of machine can fly in the sky. So that's how we name it, 飞机. The machine flying in the sky. So that's 飞机. That's airplane. Pretty interesting, huh? Now let's look into the next one. Item number 9, 自行车。自行车 is bicycle. Why they call 自行？自 is 自己 means yourself. The auto, automatic. Alright, 自自动 that's automatic. 行 means that you walk, you move. Movement, those are 行。车 is a car. So if there's a vehicle that they can move or they can run by themselves, that is bicycle, of course. If you don't touch it and you just push it, and they can still run forward by themselves. But of course, they all failed after a certain distance. So 自行车 is the bicycle. But this is a general name. You see, now we eventually know we give different names for this kind of bicycle. For the one person ride, that's just bike, and then for two person that is a bicycle, and then the three person is tricycles. But here we call them all 自行车, all bicycles. You might have 6. I saw the longest one I saw is 6 people riding together, but they all bicycle. We call 自行车. Now next one is 船, number 10. 船 means a ship or boat. This is a general name as well for the vehicle sailing on the sea. The first one actually that is kind of a pirates vessel. Then the upper right is the cruise. Cruise actually is 游轮, and the bottom left is this is the cargo the cargo ship. We call this is 货柜船, and then the bottom right is the yacht. That's 游艇. But don't care. You don't really have to remember all those names in Chinese. I just told you that 船 is a collection name that's very general to describe whatever you can sail on the sea. And on the bottom left, that's the Japan's map. So you say 日本这个地方. So those are to imply this is a physical location that you can find on the map. Item number 12, 雪 means snow. Alright, 雪, this is the picture I'm showing here is the crystal of the snow. It's very pretty. Okay, so 雪, if we say this is the snow sceneries, 雪景, 景 is 风景, that's the scenery. So most of at the bottom, two pictures that is 雪景. 雪 is snow. Next one, number 13, 父母. Okay, 父 means 爸爸, 母 is mama. Chinese did not using 爸爸, mama until 400 or 500 years ago, when we start to trade with the Westerns, because the Western culture influenced the Chinese, so we adopt this international word, papa, mama. So now we call father as a 爸爸, 母 as a mama. It's much more general, more common than using 父母. But 父母 actually is respectful term to represent to call your parents. But you don't say 父母 in front of your parents. It's just you want to mention your parents to somebody else. You say my parents. Okay, 我的父母. Okay, so usually when you call your parents in front of them, you still call them 爸爸 or 妈妈. Alright, 父, actually this word actually was copied from the original. The pictures of it's a tool that I think I introduced that to you in the class before. It's a tool that used for agriculture, not for farming, and only the head of household, because they have to do the plantations, and they have to rake the field, so they have to use the tool, and that gradually become to be an authority of the household. So father is the person who using those tools for farming. So he is the head of household, and that's the symbol of the authorities. And this word actually was inherited from that tool, and then that become to be father. Okay, fu. Mu is the picture showing that a mother, a female, is breastfeeding a baby. So fu mu means that the parents. Next one is lu. That's number 14. Lu is there is a will, there is a way. Well, no matter that's how narrow or how wide that is, as long as that forms a pathway, then that is a road. That is a lu. Okay, even on the desert, you leave your footprints. No, but that is the trail that everybody follow the same path, and then that become to be a road. That is a lu. Next one is number 15. 室友. 室友 means a roommate. 室 means a room. 友 is a friend. A friend living in the same room with you, that's a 室友. But in the same token, if you say that somebody live under the same roof with you, 屋 is 屋子, that is a house. So 同 is the same. The same house under the same roof, those are your roommate as well. So there's two ways to say the roommate is a 室友 or 同屋. Okay, the picture you can see that is the famous sitcom Friends. They all living under the same roof. So some of them, those three girls actually is a roommate, is a 室友, but they all of them you can call them all 同屋. They live under the same roof. So this is roommates. But look into the bottom right. This is similar race, but they live together. There's a puppy, there is a kitty, and there is a rabbit. And now they adopt a new one. It looks like it's a squirrel, or that is a hamster. I don't know. But they all live together in the same household, I think so. So they are roommates too. Next one, item 16, 计划. This is a plan. Right? 计划. You making a plan. 你做计划. The verb is 做. 计划 is plan. You're using this as a noun, so you say 做计划. But if you want to use 计划 as a verb, you say 我计划去哪里玩？我计划去英国，我计划去加拿大. Then that can be used as a verb. Okay. Now the plan actually will take you to a different direction, and that you can't avoid. There's a decision making. You have to you have to include in your plan when under what kind of condition, what kind of decision you have to make, or what kind of strategy you have to take, and then what kind of implementation you have to follow with that. So those are the plan you make. So we call that 计划. The last one, number 17, that's the 想家. What 想家 here is used as a noun, which means that you got homesick. This look at the picture on the upper left corner. That is a runaway boy with his puppy, but the puppy doesn't want to move any forward. He missed his food. He missed his soft bed at home. So the runaway boy asked him, "Do you have a homesick now? Go go." Go go means that dog. Okay, as his puppy, go go. That's his nickname, I believe so. So go go, are you having a homesick? 你是不是想家了? Huh? They're cute. Now next one, the upper right picture. That is, most of the situation can trigger you off of homesick. That is, you miss your parents, right? So 想家 means that you miss your mother or your grandparents or your fathers. So that is that's human nature. At the bottom, this is a reunion, ending festival. You don't live at home, but whenever the holidays, or just like Thanksgiving or Chinese New Year, that you miss all the table food of good food your mom cooked. So at that time, you start to think about family reunion, which is 团圆, and that's the time trigger off your 想家, your homesick.